Hello there, wary travellers. I bet you're wondering why I'm here in this cave. To tell you about these guys. These little fellas are the Skaven, or also known as the Rat Men. The origins for these feral rats vary, as Imperial scholars and the dwarves tell the origins of the Skaven differently. The dwarves believe that an exiled ancestor god created the Skaven, as the god swore revenge on his kin. It's believed that the god learnt how to shape flesh like some weird Play-Doh, to turn himself into an hideous rat beast and birth the Skaven from the blood of dwarves. While radical Imperial scholars and university professors argue over the true origin of the Skaven, some thinking they are an offshoot of the Beastmen, while others insist that they are an evolved and mutated version of the normal rat. However, the worst of it is that most of humanity can agree that there is no such thing as a Skaven, and those that dare to speak openly about such matters are often shunned by normal society, and at worst burned at the stake for heresy. This comes from the fact that if the people knew that under most Empire cities there were millions of mutant rat men, it would cause mass panic all over. The only source the scholars could gather that mentioned the Skaven was from an old Talene tale called Doom of Khazor. The most commonly referenced scholars used an ancient poem of 13 stanzas, in either the original Talene or translation. Copies of the tale have all been destroyed or have since gone missing over the centuries. Some speculate that the imperial authorities accused the text of being heretical and burned all the knowledge it held. Others believe that the Skaven might have even had a hand in its disappearance. However, the tale is treated like folklore in the lands of Talene, amongst the many farmers and commoners that live in the countryside. Moving on, we shall be looking at the biology. Skaven's physical appearance looks like a large bipedal rat, roughly between 4 and 5 feet tall on average. It also has enough intelligence to make a simple tour and converse in a developed language. The smarter these rats are able to learn complex mathematics and rudimentary engineering. The lifespan of a ratman is about a handful of years, or if not less, as they're often violent internal competitions of their species. They might live to be in their 20s. The more powerful Skaven can live up to hundreds of years, thanks to the use of drugs, magic, or the exposure or the use of the unstable magical substance called warpstone. Most Skaven have brown, and if often dirty or matted fur, with large fangs in the upper jaw structure, red-blooded shot eyes, overgrown claws, and a naked tail growing to the size of its body length. Their skin is thicker than a normal human and is often littered with a variety of scars, the most common of marks made by other Skaven. Skaven also have a natural strong constitution against sickness and plagues, a trait that was forcibly developed in order to survive the often unstable environments that the majority of Skaven live in. Skaven are normally malnourished and have skinny arms and legs, making them weak in the strength or weight department. But don't let their skinny bodies fool you, as these rats are naturally faster, more agile, and natural diggers. Those born with white or grey fur in the litter are prized in Skaven society, as these rats will often become greyseers. This is the Skaven's form of a priest and wizard. Though on the other hand, Skaven of black fur are looked upon as the true sign of a killer, and so the elite Storm Vermin Corps draw their members from only those black-furred ratlings. However, it is common for other ratmen to dye their fur black. Albino Skaven are rare but not unheard of, and are considered special and unique in the eye of the Skavendom, and are held in a higher esteem than most other breeds. As such, those born as albino are often taken from birth and trained to become the elite of the elite, the personal Storm Vermin honor guard of the Council of 13. The next page is psychology. The Skaven as a species often represent all things bad and is despised in a typical good-natured empire. The Skaven, at their core, are selfish and unloving, as raised in a violent society that only promotes violence, cunning, and the need for survival. With that, each Skaven has a mindset of survival, leaving little room for remorse or pity, not even for close friends or even siblings or kin. Not only are the Skaven a petty and jealous race, but they are also devious and sly in their attitude to one another. Now, let's talk about the everyday of a Skaven. Skaven's daily life is all about finding angles to play to advance himself and only himself with all sorts of schemes. This is normally done by looking for the quickest and easiest path to gain glory and power. This mindset comes from their short life expectancy. This is the most notable when a Skaven tries to claim an achievement as his own, which would naturally draw him attention and possibly recognition amongst his peers. However, a Skaven is naturally shy, and to draw too much attention to oneself often ends with his immediate death. As the Skaven have only one life, the one emotion that is defining factor is fear, as losing their own is the ultimate misery. One other thing a Skaven values is status within his society, for being shamed or demoted from a position of power is a heavy blow to their ego, and worse is to be humiliated in public. This normally doesn't mean death, but nevertheless, this makes their life a living hell. The Skaven and food have an odd relationship, as their kind have an endless hunger, only staved off by eating regularly. While no one would see this anything remarkable, for the Skaven is a grave concern, so much that they measure distance in food stops rather than miles or leagues. If a rat man goes too long without food, there's a great chance he will suffer from the black hunger. This is a terrible all-consuming urge that drives the rat men into a frenzy, in that they will consume anything edible within reach, gorging themselves until they are utterly bloated and unable to continue. This is most common in battle, and when they will feed on the fallen. Friend or foe doesn't matter, only feeding matters. When in the grip of the black hunger, a Skaven becomes completely fearless. The ruling power of the Under Empire is the Council of 13, and these members are known throughout the subterranean realm as the Lords of Decay. These rat lords oversee all matters pertaining to their entire species. This could be planning a terrible plot for invasion against their enemies. It is a duty of the 13 to unite all the various clans under one banner. Though the council has sway over the whole of the Under Empire, this doesn't stop the bickering and the infighting that hold back the Skaven, much to the benefit of the old world. The council gather in a hall or in parts at least once a month, and sessions occasionally called on a weekly basis, especially in times of war. The council members discuss battle plans, political dilemmas, and important issues that face their race, and must vote on what course of actions need to be taken. Politics also play an important part in the council's discussions, and alliances are often made or broken in full view of the other members. The unity of the council remains, at its core, an illusion. Only when the issue is the direst or when the Horn Rat personally intervenes in the discussion making will the council ever unite under one single cause. Every position within the council is open to new candidates or replacement at any given time. For someone to be a candidate, they must first place their hand on the pillar of commandments and survive. Then they need to pick an already existing member and fight them to the death. The second most common method to becoming a seat is to destroy a clan that possesses one, as by right of conquest the seat would go to the victor as a spoil of war. Whether the victor can retain the seat once it has been taken is another matter entirely, as the other members often assassinate or through other means get rid of the member. In the Under Empire, there is a religion that worships the supreme god, and this god is called the Horn Rat, and virtually every rat. Some are not as loyal to the Horn Rat, but don't worry, we will be getting to them. Graces oversee all the worship. Though the Horn Rat isn't with the four Chaos Gods, they are a distant relative as a minor god of chaos. This rat god is what every Skaven wishes to be, that being undying and forever scheming. The Horn Rat patiently waits for the day of great ascendance, where the Skaven will swarm across the surface of the world, eating it from within, as all things must rot, and the horn rat and his offsprings are the worldly reality of this simple truth. No rat in the Under Empire questions his existence, and with so much respect produces fear, as the horn rat's hunger is never ending, and he doesn't care between his vermin children and the dwellers of the surface. Blood sacrifice is common in worship, as the Skaven fear that if the rat's appetite is not satisfied, he will devour his children instead. The number of sacrifices to the horn rat can differ depending on the need of the Skaven. In wartime, the number can shoot up to the 1,000 of daily sacrifices, and the Skaven will increase the number of daily sacrifices if they fail to secure a victory in battle or suffer some other embarrassing setback. The Greyseers preach that victory can't be won if the horn rat is unsatisfied, and thus any defeat or failure is a sign that he must be appeased. Religious service are held by Greyseers, and Skaven are expected to attend at least once a day, even if no record is kept of saying who came. But those who don't open themselves to criticism, suspect of heresy, treason, and many other things. Skaven warlords would contact their own spiritual advisors from the ranks of the Greyseers, and these priests for hire give private service to their employees and their household. Now, returning to those not so loyal worshippers. These heretical rats worship the grandfather of plague, Nurgle, and most fingers point towards the clan of Pestilence and one ratman named Canker Flet, tasked with establishing Pestilence presence where none was previous. He was able to use magic that other plague deacons and priests can't use. Likely as a result of his worship, it is rumoured by the ratmen that the innermost circles of the clan Pestilence follow not the rat god, but the plague lord. The Greyseers, more than any more, champions this theory, but no hard evidence has been brought before the council. Moving on from religion to the language of these ratmen. It is called Queekish, and is a chittering and hasty speech that is made up of lots of rapid squeaks and trills. The words are short, clipped, and often repeated several times in a row in an effort to add emphasis to statements. Due to the speed with which Queekish is spoken, long sentences are often broken up into several fragments. As such, these fragment sentences must be pieced together to form coherent thoughts, especially during long stretches of dialogue. The written form of Queekish consists of several thousand pictograms, each representing a single word or concept. Most Skaven know the most important pictograms, while only a few can recite them all. As new discoveries are made, new pictograms are devised. Many are so similar as to be identical to the untrained eye. Writing is accomplished by the use of a sharpened stylus or an extended claw. The Skaven are broken up into two social systems, these being a caste system that focuses heavily on the further Skaven that assigns what the role they will have. Unless they have white or grey fur with horns, then they go to the religious caste, as they are considered as chosen of the horned rat. If they have white or grey fur, but don't have horns, then they will be taken and trained to be storm vermin guards for the council. The other system is the clan hierarchy, and is normally built up of male ratmen that are known as warlords. These clans are known as warlord clans, form a hierarchy defined by the law of the strongest ruling over the weakest. At the top of this hierarchy is the warlord, hence its name, who is supposed to be the strongest and most cunning individual within the entire clan. These warlords are the official tyrannical rulers of the Skaven clans, whose rule is both harsh and absolute. There are 4 great clans, and we will be going through them in order of power. Starting off first is Clan Moulder. This clan specializes in the making of the horrific war beasts. Some of these beasts are the rat ogres, howpit abominations, and giant rats. It is still unknown how these ratmen have achieved these results in these experiments, for the pack moulders are a greedy and jealous lot, but what is no secret is that the clan is considered one of the wealthiest of the Skaven clan within the entire Under Empire. The next in power is Clan Scryer, This clan specializes in the creation and research towards the machinery, using arcane magic and technological machinery. Some of the war machines made are doom wheels and warp lightning cannons. The members are called warlock engineers and are both inventors and magicians alike, whose expertise aid in the making of all kinds of war machines and weaponry for the use of those willing to pay. Many of them are full-fledged wizards themselves, capable of manipulating the winds of magic to cast spells on their own, but their most potent of weapons lie in their use of their own deadly weaponry. The third clan is Clan Pestilence. I've already spoken a bit about the clan already, so I'll keep this brief. This clan is feared throughout their domain for the vile diseases and plagues these Skaven have mastered and unleashed upon this world. Probably the most feared out of all the great clans, these Skaven are hated by enemies and allies alike. Now finally, the fourth clan is Clan Escher. This clan specializes in the deadly and secretive art of stealth, murder, poison, and assassination. This clan is by far the most secretive and hidden of them all. This mysterious clan has eyes and ears everywhere, and its deadly operations are scattered throughout the Under Empire, as well as hidden about within the cities and settlements of the surface dwellers. For the right price, the black-clad agents of the Clan Escher will steal any information, commit any act of ruthless sabotage, or assassinate any rival with ruthless efficiency. These were the major clans. There are other warlord clans that make up the bulk of the Under Empire, though these clans are far weaker than the major clans, so I won't be going into detail about them. The currency for Skaven is called warpstone, and sometimes called warpstone tokens, and it's everything to the Skaven. It's a mainstay of their society as they use it to buy weapons and troops. It's used in their magic and technology. The Skaven have fought many wars over warpstone. Unlike other shiny materials like gold, silver, and so on, warpstone is more important. The rats will do anything to get even the smallest amount. Leaders will send out small groups on missions to acquire it, even if its existence in a particular location has not been proven. In the many undercities dotted around the world, there are markets where nearly anything can be bought within these markets. For a price, most Skaven citizens perform their daily shopping in these markets, haggling in high-pitched squeaks and shrills. Even clan affiliation is often not enough to stem the constant squabbling that breaks out within the market. To both the Skaven who sell their wares and those who buy them, haggling is yet another form of survival and a one-upmanship, getting the better part in any deal. Either by bargaining or blatant larceny, it is a noble goal to the Skaven. Throughout the Old World, the Skaven are treated like secret and an old myth, as each race recalls the migration of the Skaven in each of their myths. The Tali, though, sadly know the horrid truth, as they were cursed to have land closest to the Skaven. So many times have the Skaven marched against the people of Tali that they have long since forgotten the luxury of pretending that the Ratmen do not exist, and instead have devoted themselves fiercely to protecting their cities and exterminating the Skaven found within them. The Ratcatchers are one of the most famous mercenary regiments in all of Tali, and are employed by the prince of that city solely to destroy the Skaven menace. The Empire have had to deal with the Skaven for 700 years, after a great plague ravished their lands, and Bretonnia haven't had any better luck either, as they suffered their plague of Skaven, designed in the form of a pox that killed half their population. Yet the Bretonians remained even more ignorant of their enemies than the people of the Empire, for they have no expert scholars, and their knights are a poor substitute for witch hunters. Moving to cold land, to the Norska and Kislev, they speak of Skaven like legend, and many in the nation who are aware of the Skaven menace fight against them. The Wood Owls claim that the Skaven couldn't enter their hidden cities. This could be from the magical tree roots in which they make their homes from, these roots going down to the earth to block the ever-spreading Under Empire beneath. Only if the owls shared their thoughts, maybe the other races could find a great weapon to use against the Ratmen, but always the owls keep to themselves. Even the halflings know the danger and do not shriek from their duties, despite their small stature. Lastly, the dwarves. They have been fighting the Skaven for thousands of years. The Ratmen are ranked below only the Greenskins in the Book of Grudges. Like every faction in the old world, the Skaven have their own military. When they are done planning and scheming, they will come from their lairs to face the enemies. Skaven armies use a simple battle plan, where they send the least valuable troops first into combat and tire the enemy before the true elite warriors land the killing blow. This starts with legions of Skaven slaves to tire the enemy lines, as they have no other purpose than to die at the feet of their enemies. The next wave to march is a massive blocks of clan rats that could come in the hundreds to 1,000. These warriors are armed with rusty blades or bent spears, and their armor are no better. The final wave that is released on the enemy is the elite, being storm vermin. These are the core of an army, and is equipped with the greatest weapons and armor, and whose purpose on the battlefield is to either hold the line or deliver the killing blow that will shatter the enemy once and for all. Mixed in the ranks are mutant beasts, war machines, and enough guns to shoot down the foe. Sometimes there will also be mercenaries. If you're unlucky, the Skaven army you're fighting will have plague monks to deal with. If seeing this massive army come towards you is terrifying, then you might not want to turn around, as silent killers will disrupt the back lines. Whether winning or losing, after a battle the rat men will disappear back into their subterranean layers, and disappearing from the eyes of the surface world once more. Within a matter of years they return back to being a story, and those stories turning into legend, leaving only the charred battlefields, piles of bones, and the survivors of the battle racked with the memories of their appearance, and no one believing them of the rat people. The rat men have their own navy too, called the clan fleets. These boats packed with warp fire throwers and death burners. You'll know when the fleet is about to appear, as there will be chimes of great bowels, and any caught in a battle with them. The Skaven will leave the sea and sky red with fire and blood. Well then, that was the lore of the Skaven. And perfect timing, as I think they've noticed that I'm down here in their cave. Well then, until next time.